So I'm Jenna Ryman Snyder. I am the managing editor of Perfumer and Flavorist Plus magazine. I have been there for 2 years now. Right now, I'm based in Paris, France. My work as a journalist, I think, has taken me to a lot of funny places. In the beginning, I was writing about power equipment and standing mowers to food to now fragrance, which has just been a beautiful thing. I have been able to meet a lot of people on the flavor and fragrance side just because that's kind of who gets married in our magazine because they use a lot of the same ingredients houses. I am the conference director for FlavorCon, which is an event that showcases all the innovations behind the flavor industry. And we also host World Perfumery Congress, which really shines a light on the perfumers and the fragrance specialists and who's making waves in fragrance. So that's kind of my job as a journalist, at least in the fragrance industry at the moment. So before I was covering fragrance stories, I was actually the food and drink editor for a newspaper in Tampa Bay. And since then, I've learned so much. But before I am where I am now, when I thought of fragrance, I thought of sweet pea body spray or cucumber melon body spray. It had a stranglehold on me in middle school, as I'm sure it did for a lot of people. I would think of iconic scents like the cologne from Abercrombie that was like wafting through the doors so that would like invite you in, plus the shirtless model. So those were things that I just immediately thought of for fragrance, or like washing my hands like 5 times at Bath and Body Works and then using the matching lotion to go with it. So that's the extent of my knowledge. And then when I started working for Perfumer and Flavorist Plus, I got to meet the makers behind the bottle, like how it got to the shelves, how, people's mind worked to make the smell of your detergent. Anything that smells good was made by a fragrance specialist. And you have no idea. Like, I had no idea that those two went hand in hand. So it's been really amazing to get to meet those makers because they're all so romantic and consider themselves to be artists, as they should, because they're recreating memories for you, or they're setting the trend. Like the latest Paco Rabanne feminine perfume was just made, and it's supposed to be the new femininity, which they're telling you, this is maybe what the new woman is wearing. So that's really beautiful. And just to hear them talk about the way that they create and how they got there is something that has been really fascinating. So some of the top fragrance news stories that I've been seeing, other than the company's news stories, which are always, top tier because we're B2B and everybody wants to know what everyone else is doing, would definitely be artificial intelligence. That just has I don't want to say it again, but it does. It has a stranglehold on what I'm covering because people are utilizing it in technology. They're utilizing new AI platforms. A recent one that I came across it's called Scent Genie. And I remember taking quizzes, in magazines to find your iconic fragrance or the fragrance that works for you. And then maybe you flip to the page that has it and you open it up and you can rub it on yourself really quickly before you go get your haircut or wherever you're reading the book, or before your dentist appointment, something like that. But now you can hop on these platforms and find out what your signature scent is, or maybe a scent for an occasion, through an AI platform where you can say, this is my personality. This is what I'm going to go do. This is kind of like my vibe. And then they tell you, and it's personalized. So those really have been the top fragrance news stories lately. I've also covered like the top new fragrance or AI platforms technologies, and everyone wanted to know what's happening. Like, where is this going? How can fragrance utilize AI when it's touched so many other realms? So some of the fragrance trends, I can think of two that I've been seeing in 2023. One is sustainability. And I think that's just been amplified so much lately because consumers are looking for where those perfumes were before they hit the shelves. what ingredients they're using, how those ingredients are being sourced. So that has been a really big trend in terms of how fragrance houses can communicate that message for traceability and transparency. Another trend I would say is personalization. So, and I think Gen Z has really been pushing personalization because they want to smell like whatever their vibe is. And I think that that's amazing rather than just going off of one blanket trend for women or for men. And gender neutral has also been a massive player in that game as well. Thinking about consumer expectations, I don't know if I've seen a massive change, but more like an intensity that has surrounded knowing more about their fragrance. So, especially where it's come from, where it's been sourced, who are the hands touching that, I think has become more of a conversation more than ever. So, that's basically the main consumer expectation that I've been seeing, and longevity of their fragrance, I would say as well. So, when I'm thinking of that, I'm thinking of like the uptick in like TikTok users saying, this is how and where you should wear your fragrance. This is where it should be stored. And like before, I would just like plant it in front of my like window and be like, this is fine, but it's not fine. And a lot of fragrances should be used and it does have a shelf life. Like the fragrance that you buy today is not going to smell the same it does like 3 years from now. So, some of the new innovations that I'm seeing in fragrance, one actually is very Crimes of the Future for me, which I don't know if you've seen that film, but I recently covered OVR Tech, and they have this last year, they launched this like full headset where it had something that they called a scent library. And originally it was used for PTSD to people to help cope with that and other like health forward clinical studies where they could recreate a memory or recreate like a setting. So, like a campfire or like a field. And it would just kind of like walk you through. It was kind of like AI. Now they've switched it up to where it's more consumer facing. You can share the sense with your friends on your phone. You kind of wear it now almost like a collar headset, and yeah, it's just really interesting. And nanobursts burst into your nose when you've decided to choose a fragrance. So that's a really exciting innovation that I've been seeing. And basically anything AI or metaverse, obviously huge buzzwords, those have been really great to see pop up. So I think that something people might not know about the fragrance industry would be the fact that everything is so seriously tested. Our perfumers have to go through a regulatory system where, all of their ingredients are tested to see the usage and the safety of them. We have a really incredible, the Research Institute, RIFM, who does all the testing of those ingredients beforehand, before they can even start to begin the process of formulation, as well as, associations who are working on policies to make sure that all fragrances are safely used before they get to you. So I know that that's some conversations that I've seen on TikTok, like, don't use this fragrance because it has XYZ, but everything that goes into those fragrances have already been heavily tested and made sure that they're safe before using. I ask this question all the time to my perfumers and to fragrance houses. What does the future of fragrance look like? And I get it. It's a huge question. But what specifically to them is the future? To me, I actually just went to a conference and everyone was talking about biotechnology and ingredients made through biotechnology and how certain ingredients can be used as temporary replacers or substitutes for natural ingredients that, either their cost went up or there's been a natural disaster or hurricane and that ingredient can't be purchased at the time, or supply chain issues. And instead you can swap those ingredients out for something that's sustainably made through biotechnology, which also kind of opens up the perfumer's palette anyway. So you're really diversifying that. That's been really exciting. I think another future take is the personalization of fragrances. I love that. I think layering of fragrances is something that has been done in the Middle East for a long time, but now I think we're starting to take it on in the US. I say we're as if I'm not in Paris right now, but in the US. So I think that that's something that could be really exciting to see. And I kind of have to thank Gen Z for that, for opening the door for some personalization.